So is it recording? Yep, there it is. All right, so good evening and welcome to the 2020 Executive Ticket Debate. Due to COVID-19, we are recording this with questions the students have submitted. Elections will start Monday, April 13th at 8 a.m. and will run until Saturday, April 18th at 11:59 p.m. How this debate will work is each ticket will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves. Once introductions are done, I will ask 5 questions. Each ticket will have 2 minutes to respond to the question. We will be rotating the order of which ticket responds first, following the order that the tickets were turned in. Once all the questions are done, each ticket will have 5 minutes to remark on anything brought up during those questions. They can only remark on what was brought up in the question section. Finally, each ticket will have 2 minutes to give a closing statement. All right, so now we're going to start off with the introductions. If I can have Rob Consolo's ticket start. You guys have 2 minutes. Let me pull up my stopwatch. All right, whenever you guys are ready.
All right. Hey everyone, my name is Rob Consolo, and I am running for the SGA presidential position, and I'm currently a master's in mechanical engineering student. I graduated from Embry-Riddle December 2017 with my dual bachelor's in commercial space operations and human factors. So I've been here for quite a bit, just about 7 years now, and I've previously served in multiple positions throughout the SGA, but we'll get into that later. And I'm really excited to have the opportunity to hopefully get back in that seat and see you guys again. So I'll hand it off to Jen to introduce herself as well.
Hey everyone, my name's Jen. I'm a mechanical engineering student. I'm a senior right now. I'm currently running as the vice president for the SGA, and I'm currently sitting as the vice president of the SGA. I'm super excited to do this campaign and be a part of this ticket.
Hi guys, I'm Autumn. I'm running as a treasurer candidate. I am currently a senior in aerospace engineering. I've also previously served on the SGA, and I'm very excited.
All right, thank you very much. All right, now I will ask for Jim Meyer's ticket to speak. Whenever you guys are ready.
Hey guys, my name is Jim Myers. I am one of your SGA president candidates. I am a sophomore pursuing aviation business administration, and this is my 3rd semester being a college of business representative in SGA.
Hi everybody, my name is Casandra. Some of you guys might know me as Sansa. I am the vice president candidate on Jim's ticket. I am a senior in electrical engineering, and I've spent many years in SGA on several different positions.
Hi guys, I'm Skylar. I'm running for the treasurer position on Jim's ticket. I am a mechanical engineering major with 2 minors, one in applied mathematics and another in computer science. I'm really excited to be starting this SGA elections, and yeah.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. So now we're going to move on to Rebecca Mew's ticket. If you guys are ready, you can start.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rebecca Mew, and I'm proud to be running alongside Sam Lee and Harley Valdez. You may have seen our campaign under Shamu for ERAU, but if you haven't gotten it by now, it stands for Sam, Harley, and Mew. But we don't support SeaWorld, so don't worry about that. But anyways, our platform consists of 3 different points: health, clarity, and inclusion. We believe that mental health on our campus is vital to growth and success of our students, and we emphasize the importance of wellness, whether it stems from better food options to our campus or blankets on West Lawn, to normalizing counseling and seeking help for our students that feel trapped, stressed, anxious, or depressed.
So as an international student and as the president of one of the biggest international student clubs, I know it is very important to create places and communities on campus and that encourage creating safe spaces for different groups of people. We want students to feel like they can come into the SGA office without a reason, maybe even just to hang out, you know. We want to see more students involved in the SGA. The Student Representative Board is the smallest it's been in years, so growth and a more fun environment for our students is amongst our goals.
Clubs are a big part of our school, and as treasurer of a student organization, a fraternity, and a member of the Student Finance Board, I know that if I'm elected this year, our budget process will be clear, accessible, and new budget sessions will create greater funding and greater support for our student organizations through the SGA. This past year, we saw incredible communication with the SGA and how much time and energy was wasted that could have been directed towards bettering the student experience at Embry-Riddle.
Harley, Sam, and I know that we will work really well together, and we're ready to make the student body our priority because we genuinely care. And so we really, really thank you for watching the debate, and we can't wait for it to begin. So don't forget SHAMU 2020. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I do apologize. I did skip Scott Oakley's ticket there. So now we're going to go to Scott Oakley's ticket. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no worries. It's okay. As you said, my name's Scott Oakley. I'm running for the president on this ticket. I'm the only candidate running who has actually served as SGA president before. During my time as president, I accomplished a great many things during last year. And this upcoming year, we got a ton more ideas we want to dive into, and I'm sure we'll get into the rest of this debate. I'm a senior in global conflict studies, and I've also been a member of our men's basketball team.
All right, my name is Ukeyvia Beckwith. I am a member of the women's track and field and cross country team. I am majoring in aerospace and occupational safety with a minor in business, and I'm excited to be your vice president elect.
Hi, my name is Larry Christian. I'm a sophomore in mechanical engineering, and I have a minor in UAS. I'm running for the treasurer position, and I'm excited to see what comes out of this.
So yeah, our platform revolves around a couple of key things for this upcoming year. First and foremost of which being the circumstances at hand. We want to take every single dollar that was not spent by the SGA in the spring semester and refund it back to the students. Beyond that, we want to devote every dollar not spent by the exec board every semester and roll that over into RSO funding for the following semester, as well as implement some actual real transparency measures into our SGA, specifically into the elected official positions, since that's something we feel we are sorely missing, as evidenced by a lot of what happened last year. As I said, I've got an extensive record I'm happy to dive into throughout the rest of this debate. But to us, what this debate is about, or what this whole election is about, is not really about the here and now, but more about the future and what we want our vision of the SGA to be. It's a fight for the soul of the SGA, and we believe that we are the best equipped to deliver on the promises we're making right now and ultimately set the SGA back on track towards what truly matters most, and that is service of our students. So thank you, guys. We strongly hope you cast your vote for Oakley, Beckwith, and Christian. Thank you.
All right, and now we're going to move on to Malik's ticket. If you guys can introduce yourself and start whenever you guys are ready.
Hi everyone, my name is Malik Moville, and I am running for president of ERAU Daytona Beach's SGA, alongside vice president candidate Felina Chotoo and treasurer candidate Natalie Hahn.
So hi guys, like Malik just said, I'm Natalie and I am a rising senior in aerospace engineering. I currently am a coordinator for the Society of Women Engineers at the society position representing the university after serving 3 years as president of the current SWE chapter here. I also have experience being the vice president of the AE Student Advisory Board, filling the gap with the students and the AE department.
Hey everyone, my name is Felina Chotoo and I'm a rising senior in aerospace engineering, and I'm working towards completing my instrument reading as a pilot. I'm currently the treasurer of the International Student Programming Council, and I'm also the past president of the Caribbean Students Association. Throughout my time at Embry-Riddle, I've been an active member of OBAP, SWE, Project Haiti, and Engineers Without Borders.
Also, I'm a senior in mechanical engineering. I am the president and the co-founder of the Black Students Association. I am also the past president of the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals. Our ticket aims to empower the student body by dissolving social barriers, increasing resource visibility, and igniting unity on campus. And within the local community, our mission is to base on ensuring the underrepresented find their voices within the find their voices within SGA and magnifying the incredible work being done by the student leaders. Collective, our ticket is excited to afford the opportunity to represent our fellow student body.
All right, thank you very much, guys. So now we're going to move on. So for this first question, we are going to have each member of the ticket receive 2 minutes to answer. So the question that we're going to ask is, what specific experience do you have that qualifies you for your chosen position? Like I said, each member of the ticket will receive 2 minutes to answer this question. We will start with Rob Consolo's ticket.
Alrighty, guys. Well, first things first, when I started my journey here at Embry-Riddle, I was a sophomore when I first actually made an action in the student government. As a general student, I came forward to the student representative board and advocated for an SGA fee increase. I was the first person to actually say we should move from $100 to $150. This was the first step in a multi-step process that has to happen in order to even do something like that. And every single time we heard issues with people saying that things like the show wasn't the acts that we want, and things just aren't happening across campus like that they should be. And I agreed with them, and we realized that the issue was that the funding wasn't there for it. And so I advocated for a small increase in that funds to deal with the inflation of our campus population and be able to accommodate those new programs. I then moved on to become on the student representative board. I became the chair of the progress committee, and that's where I had the opportunity to oversee multiple different projects across the campus. One of the big projects we dealt with that semester was the actual implementation of the free car vacuum and air pump that is at the Tomcat Annex. And then we also were the board that started the process on Zipcar. One of the members came forward with Zipcar, and then they eventually forwarded the project to me as chair of progress committee, and I saw to it that the ball got rolling on that. And as we can tell, that was a pretty lengthy project due to a lot of legal issues, and we were luckily able to get that implemented this past year. Now moving forward, after my time in the SRB, I then moved on to become part of the SFB, understanding the money flow situation of the SGA, and then proceeding on to become vice president of the SGA, where I had the opportunity to set up and start the SGA shuttle service, and also participate in multiple other large-scale projects across the board. And to this day, that year in the SGA was one of the most successful we've seen for a long time. And now I look forward to hopefully getting the opportunity to be your president.
Great, thank you very much. I look forward to hearing to your vice president.
Hey everyone, it's Jen here. So I started my journey in SGA as an SRB member for the College of Arts and Sciences. I was the head of the College of Arts and Sciences representative group, where I planned a couple forums that helped bring some transparency when talking about the new union, because the new union wasn't built yet, but we had all these plans for it. So I planned a couple forums about telling students about what was going on and hearing their input. I was also the head of the academic committee, where I planned student study day. And next, I was the chief of staff, which is on the executive cabinet. So I have plentiful experience on the exec board. As a chief of staff, I planned Student Appreciation Day, and I implemented a bunch of programs within internally in SGA to help members, go out to more events and be, helpful with each other. And currently I'm sitting as the vice president of the SGA, where I'm the chairperson of the SRB. I oversee all the work that all the SRB members do. I help them out wherever they need. I'm on every single conversation with the exec board, any new events that we have planning, any new programs that the SGA brings forward. I'm a part of that conversation. I have a voice, and I hope to be a part of that conversation in the next year.
All right, thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from your guys' treasurer candidate.
Hey guys, like I said, I'm running as a treasurer candidate. So I first started my journey my first semester here at ERAU as an FYI member, and I followed through with that for the remainder of the year. And then I moved on to become a student representative for the COE, where I was the lead representative. And under that, I served under Vice President Rob. And I worked directly with the Student Finance Board through that. With Rob as Vice President, he made sure that all of his members understood all SGA processes, and including allocations. So as a lead representative for the COE, I work directly with SFB, which is now the Student Treasury, to receive funding for our forums. And even so, before campus closed, I had the amazing opportunity to meet with Audrey, who sits as the current treasurer. And I got to meet with her and learn the ins and outs of everything it means to be a treasurer and how to successfully lead the Student Treasury Board. Not only that, I'm highly familiar with all the budget guidelines and all the training, and know how much it takes to be the treasurer as well. I've seen and learned the financial system from all sides, and I know I have a strong exec behind me, whereas Rob served on the Student Finance Board. So we'll help each other where necessary, and I feel extremely confident and capable to serve the SGA as a treasurer.
All right, thank you very much. Now we'll move on to Jim Myers' ticket. So Jim, if you would like to start.
Hey guys, when I came to Embry-Riddle in fall of 2018, I joined SGA right away as FYI member. And then my second semester, I became a representative on the representative board for the College of Business. A committee very close to me is the Progress Committee. That's allowed me to work on tons of projects for the student body. One of them including an airport shuttle service that you might have used for fall or winter break. $7 one way, and we had about 400 students use that shuttle service. And I think that's a brilliant way to see where your SGA dollars are going. Last year, I was SGA Member of the Year. That was very humbling for me because I take my work very seriously in SGA. It's not work to me, it's passion. And I'm always working on projects, always reaching out to students to best represent them on most current issues on campus. And currently, one of my secret projects is an air show for the Daytona Beach campus that I've been working on since September. So really looking forward to, if elected, make a bigger impact on campus. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And I look forward to hearing from your vice president candidate.
Hi, everybody. I've been involved with SGA since I was a freshman. I spent 2 years on the student representative board as a College of Arts and Sciences student representative. I also was on the committee that held the forum that showed the plans of the new student union for transparency, and I've also been on the academic committee as well. I've spent some time on the Constitution Committee helping to reform the Constitution of the SGA to help fit the students' needs. And this past year, I've spent time on the Student Finance Board so I can understand the funding process. I believe even though I am running for vice president, understanding the finance process will help me to make my ticket strong, and I hope that we will stand together. You might have seen me on campus throughout my whole time here because I haven't taken a break from SGA and I haven't taken a break from the student body. I believe that their needs are always changing, and I refuse to not open my ears to that. And I really hope that in me, you see a candidate that understands the smaller organizations, understands my friends in all unique places besides SGA. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I look forward to hearing from your guys' treasurer candidate.
Hey guys, so through my past 4 years that I've been here, I've gotten involved in a lot of different parts of the campus, especially the lacrosse program that I'm in. I've gotten to gain a ton of leadership skills through this that will help me lead the Student Finance Board, where I was on, when I'm on the lacrosse team, I serve on the Leadership Council where I act as a voice for my team. And I think that's a smaller scale of what I will do in SGA, since SGA acts as, a voice for the student body. While also this past year, I have completed a 10-week leadership course that helped me learn my strengths and weaknesses in my leadership abilities and allowed me to work on the weaknesses that I did find that I had and build on that. And I had my coach help me through that with a lot of guidance, and she is a perfect role model for that. Also, I'm super involved in my sorority, Tri Sigma, where I've held numerous positions there, and it's taught me the value of service. I also have a math minor, which helps me understand all the calculations that will be done in finances. And yeah, I think all these things will help me be a great leader and treasurer for the student government.
All right, thank you very much. Now we would like to move on to Scott Oakley's ticket. Look forward to hearing from Scott.
Yeah, so as I previously mentioned, I'm the only candidate currently running who's actually served as SGA president before and understands the actual full scope of what it takes to be the SGA president. What I learned was that there's about a 2-month learning curve, very steep learning curve, to fully get settled into the job. And I'm happy to say that I've already gone through that learning curve. And so getting back to campus on day one, our ticket will be more than adequately prepared to serve on behalf of the students from day one instead of getting our feet under us, which, considering the circumstances at the moment, that's going to be incredibly important for our students because our students do not have time to wait. They're going to need an SGA that's fighting for them from day one. Beyond that, during my time as president, I mentioned my record. I'll just go through some of the highlights real quick. When I came in, we had 1 shuttle route. When I left office, we had 3 shuttle routes. We tripled it and instituted various improvements to it, such as the tracking app, signs to mark the shuttle stops, benches for students to sit at, magnets to put on the shuttles, et cetera, et cetera. We made some major improvements to the shuttle system, which I happen to take every day coming from Eagle Landing. Beyond that, I was also able to successfully lobby our upper administration to commit to building a parking garage. This is something that our students have been asking for 10 years now and has never happened, but I got in there and I showed them some statistical, real data showing that our students want this and our students are serious about this. And sure enough, it is now in the campus master plan to build us a parking garage. Beyond that, we also launched a partnership program between athletics and Greek life, pairing each team with a fraternity or sorority. We were able to secure tuition vouchers for ERT, which was having difficulty getting those. We got additional skateboard racks added. We've doubled our social media interaction. As Rob mentioned, Zipcar got implemented. Bottom line, it's a long list, and I believe I'm the only candidate who truly understands what it takes to commit to this job and have results on day one. So thank you guys.
All right, thank you very much. Now I look forward to hearing from your guys' vice president candidate.
Okay, so I have picked up a couple of leadership roles on campus. So the first one would be I joined ISASI, which is the International Society of Air Safety Investigators, last year, 2018. And then now I am currently vice president. So I know a couple of things of how, to lead people, manage, and kind of get things done without, hesitation. I know how to get where I want or what I want to get done to happen. And then also I am a leader on the track and field and cross country team, and I've been on that team for 3 years. So just leading everyone, kind of mentoring people and getting people to do kind of work and men to where they need to be and the best that they can be, which is what I think the main goal is that we want our students to be the best that they can be within their campus or within the university. We want to provide them with extra activities, more community service things that kind of just gets them more involved within the community and within campus so that they are more proud of their school as well as their SGA for allowing them to have that opportunity. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. Now I look forward to hearing from your guys' treasurer candidate.
Hi, my name is Larry Christian, as we've already discussed. When it comes to qualifications for being treasurer, I actually have managed my own business. I started from the ground up about 2 years ago, and I've been successfully managing the funds for that business and growing it on my own for the past 2 years. I've also been treasurer for a RSO on campus, which is the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals, where I took the club from a pretty bad place and brought us up back to our former glory. And this club is actually one of the largest minority clubs on campus, so that's a pretty big deal. My main thing was that I wanted to allocate funds for the satisfaction of our members because they are the reason we exist and we do everything for them. Also, I plan to do this when I become SGA treasurer, catering more to the students, which I don't feel has been happening lately. So I'd like to have that done. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, thank you very much. Now we'll move on to Rebecca Mew's ticket. Rebecca Mew, whenever you're ready.
Thanks, Sam. So I just want to start off with my experience in SGA. This past year, I served as an associate justice on the student court. And so because of that, I had a position in SFB. I looked over allocations. In SRB, I was the voice for the court at SRB meetings. I sat in on honor board meetings as well when deans come in, when other members from the school come in, and to kind of decide the fate of students that have had academic integrity issues. And I'm also a student assistant, so I work the front desk at the student leadership suite. So when you walk in, I'm the first face you see, and I fill up all the coffee and everything. Anyways, my outside experience, I actually am a transfer student. So I have experience of being the vice chair of a student government of 17,000 undergraduate students at University of California, back in California. I was a leader of the committee, so especially for us here who are spending a lot of, my internet connection is unstable. But anyways, because of that, I halted tuition hikes at our school, which was very important. And I started a book exchange program because textbooks are super expensive. I was the head of orientation summer of fall 2017, which was about 7,000 freshman students coming in. My leadership at Embry-Riddle, I'm the president of Surf Club. I am the vice president of Rock Climbing Club. For my surf club, it involves patience, teaching people, working with people, making sure that they're safe and not drowning. I am a leader of all women skate and surf days here in Daytona Beach, and I'm also a leader in queer skate dates over in California. I'm also a women's ambassador on campus, so I deal with a lot of the freshman women coming in, and I'm a big proponent of bettering the ratio here. I'm also the face of students when we go to welcome student dinners around the country. And also, this position includes talking and being personable and meeting with people who are high up. And I have a lot of experience, and I'm very well spoken. I have experience in that because in high school, my senior year, I was actually elected statewide in California as the youth secretary of state. And in the position, I talked to our governor, our secretary of state. I lobbied for my school district in our capital, and I led open ceremonies.
Good, time's up. All right. I would like to hear from your guys' vice president candidate next.
All right. Hi, everybody. To be honest, I don't have a lot of experience as compared to others as a vice president candidate. However, I have served the Korean Marines Corps as a sergeant, during 2016 to 2018, where I was able to acknowledge the importance of teamwork, work ethics, and disciplines. And also, I have worked as a Pyeongchang Winter Olympic general manager, where I managed the opening and closing ceremony, which involved leadership and management skills. And as a CFI applicant in school, I believe I can express my dedication, professionalism, and safety not only toward aviation, but to the school itself as well. And the last thing, I have been the KSA president, leading more than 250 students already from fall 2019, which led me to multiple connections to other international student groups around campus. And being an international student myself will give some outside world viewpoints as a student body to improve the SGA environment. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And I look forward to hearing from your guys' treasurer candidate.
Good evening. I am Harley Valdez. I'm running for the SGA treasurer. My experience actually starts within my first year here at Riddle. I immediately became the treasurer of the fraternity I was initiated into. And in that position, I managed over 6 figures worth of income, both for an active house that we have and for all of the general members of our fraternity. Within this time, I also managed 3 different financial systems and worked on 2 different bank locations within all of that. I had a budget for it all, so I'm extensively experienced with any sort of financial system that could be used. Additionally, once I left that position, I became the treasurer of the Paintball Club, a student organization on campus. Here, I have had perfect collection rates for the past 2 years from the SGA and over tripled our budget as Paintball Club treasurer. Additionally, this spring semester, I actually became a member of the Student Finance Board and saw the other side of the funding process that goes on. With this experience, I have seen the funding process that our school does through and through and hope to make countless innovations and increases in efficiency that are able to help all of our organizations grow in their finances. Along with that, I've actually worked closely with the SGA treasurer to make the switch from connections to campus groups. What that entails is I was the basically the guinea pig organization that helped testing and systems for any of the organizational things such as reimbursements, capital expenditures. To get those up and running, I was actually the organization that was tested and helped her work through all of the debugging to make sure that that was running smoothly by the time that all the other organizations came in to do that. With all of my experience, I hope to make treasury and the funding process such a more efficient process for everyone. And thank Thank you. That'll be all.
All right, thank you very much. All right, now I would like to hear from Malik's ticket. Malik, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. I want to speak on the question of the amount of leadership I had within the past that makes me qualified. Well, I was past president of OBAP for the past 2 years. Like Larry both said, the glory days, back then it was 5 people when I first joined. I got it up to 55. The organization was able to take 80% of the members to our national convention and was able to open up opportunities like internships and scholarships. And then that brings me back to BSA as the founder to help out all the minorities on this campus. We've raised the membership this year from 10 to 45 paid members. We've been able to do multiple events like alumni relations has done Black Alumni Reunion. We've been able to open up an alumni scholarship with our alumni, as well as bring them out for a cookout to introduce them to the current students and the tour of the new campus. I'll pass it off to Natalie Hahn.
All right, thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you guys as vice president candidate.
Hi everyone, again, my name is Felina and I'm running for vice president. I've been here for 4 years and in my time I've had a lot of experience being an active member with clubs on campus. First, I was secretary of Engineers Without Borders. I was also a member of CSA as events coordinator at the time. I also served as a member of Project Haiti, where we designed and installed a water filtration system in Haiti. After that, I became president of the Caribbean Students Association, where we hosted one of the largest outside conferences at Embry-Riddle. It was around 700 people involved in the process. One of the main things that I learned with all this leadership experience is that you have to be very personable with people to get things done. I think one of the key characteristics of my experience is that I can find everything and find any kind of information and resources to get the job done no matter what. And I'll pass it off to Natalie Hahn now.
All right, thank you very much. I now look forward to hearing from you guys' treasurer candidate. Whenever you're ready.
Thanks. So one of the most important things that every single ticket should be talking about is how they know how to work with other people. Thankfully, when I served as president of the Society of Women Engineers for 3 years, I was able, with other help from leadership, to take our organization from 80 members to 324 members in less than 3 years. This was not just a feat by my own. Even though I was president, this also had to do with the rest of my executive board, all the committees, and all the members. Being on the SGA is not about your own position, it's about all the positions working cohesively. And I believe that thanks to being president on campus for 3 years with SWE, and now another year with Valkyrie, I know how to do that. Additionally, planning doesn't start in the fall. Planning starts the moment you get elected. And I implemented this with SWE. The minute I was elected, we hit the ground running with what we needed to do, when everything needed to be planned, and start talking to every single necessary component. I also worked with a very extensive budget of tens of thousands of dollars in 1 year, where we had to work with corporate sponsors and local sponsors in order to make sure that we were upholding what we promised people we can do, which I know my ticket will be able to do with the body as well. Additionally, I am a coordinator for the Society of Women Engineers at the society level. So I already know how to represent the university to over 50,000 members across this country. Here on campus, I work with Nagar Afshar in student organizations. So I am very involved with the budget allocation process and helping out student orgs, understanding the bylaws properly, understanding every single in and out of student organizations that are the backbone of this student body. I believe that my experience is going to help me be an exceptional treasurer and be part of an even more amazing executive ticket.
All right, thank you very much. So now we move on to the second question. So for this question, anyone on you guys' ticket can answer. I only ask that you guys have one person talking at a time. You guys have 2 minutes combined total to answer this question. So the next question is, what characteristics about yourselves make you believe your ticket fully represents our diverse student body? This includes minority groups and the large number of varying student orgs. To start off with, we will have Jim Myers' ticket. You guys have 2 minutes.
All right, hi guys. So for this, Jim, Sansa, and I all come from different parts of the campus. Jim is heavily involved in SGA, where he's been Member of the Year, COB rep, Progress Committee, and a STEP advisor. He's also been involved in O-Team. Sansa also involved in O-Team and heavily involved in SGA and her sorority and serving on the Panhellenic exec. And then I come from the athletic side of campus and also Greek life and being elected as the homecoming queen. So through all of these different organizations coming from all different parts of the campus that we cover, we're not just limited to those organizations. We're also very social people, and we're talking with other organizations in like, for example, like being on the lacrosse team, I interact with other athletic teams, or being in Greek life, we hold socials where we're talking with other fraternities and sororities and stuff. So we're covering a large basis of the university just with how we interact with organizations, with each other. So I think that because we're a very diverse ticket, we'll be able to represent the student body very well.
All right, thank you very much. The next ticket will be Scott Oakley's ticket. Whenever you guys are ready, just let me know if you guys need me to repeat the question at any time too, just so you guys know.
Cool. All right, thank you. Well, obviously on paper, we believe we are a very diverse ticket, ranging from athletics to the Black community to the women of ERAU. But we don't really care about what we look like on paper. We care about what we've actually done and are going to continue to do to promote the interests of these various groups. You can take Ukeyvia with the track team. Her leadership and her skills on the track and on the field have helped lead them to back-to-back conference championships, and she herself has snagged a few individual conference championships herself. Think about all that. Think about how that does in promoting our women on campus and being able to look at our athletics and saying, "Wow, our women's track team, they really know their stuff and they're consistently good." That's something I can look up to and really be proud of. Larry, his involvement in OBAP, again, advancing the Black community in a professional space such as the aerospace industry, another vital contribution to our student body and promoting diversity. And then as for me personally, I took diversity very seriously during my time as president, and I actually want to read a quotation that was stated about my commitment to diversity from a prominent leader of minority group on campus. I said, quote, "Within the Black community as a whole, our voices have been heard since you have been in office. It has not been like this for a long time. You helped advertise diversity, but at the same time promote inclusivity. In no way do I or my colleagues of a number of diverse groups feel underrepresented," end quote. As for the person who actually said that, it's none other than Malik Moville, who was president of the BSA, and I still thank Malik to this day for that resounding endorsement for my commitment to diversity. And if we're to be reelected again, you can bet your bottom dollar that we're going to continue promoting diversity and inclusivity all across our campus as we've done in the past. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so the next ticket we'd like to hear from is Rebecca Mew. You guys have 2 minutes whenever you guys are ready.
Our ticket has a representative in every major demographic of our student body. From an academic perspective, we have a representative in the College of Engineering, College of Business, and College of Aviation. Every major education is represented, as you can see. Secondly, with our student involvement, we've actually had extensive representation of the students themselves. So we've worked in places such as the student court, the student finance board, and obviously the student representative board. This has allowed us to actually be the voice of students to the higher ups and advocate on the students' behalves closely working with them and seeing what their needs are. Along with that, additional campus involvement. We all hold leadership positions in any sort of student organizations. Rebecca Moo is, as she said, Surf Club President, VP of the Rock Climbing Club. I'm Treasurer. I've held leadership positions in my fraternity as well. Sam Lee is actually the President of the Korean Students Association, and he played a large role helping students in this recent crisis, helping them organize housing and travel plans to ensure their safety and well-being. As you can see, we're all very representative and communicate a lot with our student body. Additionally, we are all ambassadors for younger incoming students as well. I am on O team, so I communicate a lot with every single class, every single semester. Moo is a women's ambassador for the school, so she goes out and specifically talks to the women demographic coming in and that are already here. As I said before, Sam Lee is also the KSA president, so he actually has a lot of communication with the international students as well. And with our combined efforts and involvement across many different groups and organizations, we ensure no voice is left unheard from our entire student body. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. The next ticket I'd like to hear from is Malik's ticket. So whenever you guys are ready.
Yes, so we are all first-gen students with varying backgrounds. Malik is a past and current president of multiple minority organizations and is heavily involved in the recruiting process for aerospace companies. And he's also a student who has transferred degree programs. I'm an international student and a pilot who is also a leader in multiple cultural organizations that represent another facet of minorities on campus. Natalie is an engineer who holds multiple jobs on campus, has lived on campus for the past 4 years, and is a national representative for this school within a minority organization. Our ticket aims to empower the student body by dissolving social barriers. And because we represent so many different minority groups of the student body, we have seen and felt the hardships that Embry-Riddle students go through on an intimate level. Although many people can empathize with minority groups, we have a direct understanding and years of experience of these hardships. But not only that, we recognize that we may not represent all aspects of our diverse student body, which is why we will be adding a diversity and inclusion student rep to the student rep board, who will work hand in hand with the international student rep and Center of Diversity and Inclusion to assess obstacles unique to the minority students. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. The next ticket I'd like to hear from is Rob Consolo's ticket, whenever you guys are ready.
All right. Well, so what I want to talk about is there's always a weird misinterpretation when we talk diversity. And people believe that the people who are sitting in the seats need to be the diverse ones. And to be completely honest, that's not how you get effective diversity within the organization. The way to get it is an open line of communication for everyone. When Chad and myself took over during the 2018-2019 academic year, we maintained an open line of communication for all students. That meant students of all backgrounds, all majors, anyone who had any type of concern or issue was able to easily bring it to the SGA and have it be addressed. That's how we ensured we were meeting the needs of our diverse student body, because our diversity on Embry-Riddle's campus is what makes Embry-Riddle's campus so amazing. We have people from all sorts of backgrounds and all sorts of professions that they hope to go into in the future. And giving them an outlet and a place to actually communicate to ensures that we as the SGA Executive Board is hearing those voices and are able to act on them in a timely manner. Now, when we did this before, it was extremely successful. And we did this through multiple different means, whether it be the monthly newsletter that came out of the SGA, weekly Did You Know columns, or a simple, easy way to communicate to all of our different aspects of the SGA, such as the student reps or the student finance board members. And a way we hope to ease that communication is by introducing something called the SGA hotline, a one-stop shop method of communicating to the SGA any issues you might be having. This gives you a direct point of contact to the SGA, issuing a ticket number that is automatically notifying those on the exec board to make sure your problems are being heard, no matter what background you're from, because that shouldn't determine your voice. Your voice is as loud as you want it to be, so make it be heard. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. We'll be moving on to the third question. The third question is, In the past year, there has been a lot of tension between the SGA and the student body. What do you plan to do to assure students that you are advocating for their best interests? For this one, we would like to hear from Scott Oakley's ticket first, whenever you guys are ready.
Yeah, thank you. So our first and foremost thing, just a pure policy proposal, is our required transparency measures. Essentially, our plan is to require all votes that are held by SGA officials, elected officials, to be held publicly and recorded publicly, because the student body has a right to know what their elected officials are doing, since those officials are elected to represent those within the student body. And for our SGA to repeatedly use last year closed door sessions, anonymous ballots, to vote on very key matters and key issues, I think that cheapens the role of an elected official and their job in representing people who elected them, who have a right to know what you're doing. And beyond that, I'd be remiss for myself to not acknowledge my role in all of this. Obviously, I have to deal with a lot of it, but I think there's just a misconception that I just want to take my time here to clear up. Being that I don't believe I was the cause of any of our problems, I believe I just showed up and identified that we had a problem that no one really wanted to acknowledge was there. And then just because I was fighting hard to solve these problems and to actually tackle them and work on a solution, that did ruffle a few feathers. And I'm not ashamed to say that was something that I did, and that I'm not going to say I wish I wouldn't have done that, because that's something that our SGA needs. And that's one of the key driving forces behind our election right now, is to continue to tackle the tough issues and not just push them to the side and act like they don't exist, because they still very much do exist. Basically, we're a ticket that's not going to settle for the status quo. That's what we did all of last year, was try and fight back against the status quo. And to be quite frank, those words ring hollow if you're not actually taking the steps toward fulfilling that promise and actually following through, not settling for everyday status quo and actually pushing for new solutions. So that's something we're going to continue fighting for, and we're not ashamed to say that. So yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Next ticket I'd like to hear from is Rebecca Mew's ticket, whenever you guys are ready. Rebecca Mew, whenever you guys are ready.
Okay, so one part of our platform is clarity, which is really important. So something that we wanted to bring up is that general session has always been open, but a lot of students don't know it is and still don't know that. And so for those students who are watching that don't know what general session is, it's a meeting that happens a couple of times in the semester when all the divisions of SGA, so like Wicked, ERT, student support, come together and present current projects, successes, and updates. I think we need to make it a bigger event than what it is right now. So the recaps are usually pretty short with the divisions, and so with that, instead of just being a food and a recap meeting, we want it to be an interactive meeting. So after the meeting, people can sit in different sections with signs, so students that come can go and ask questions immediately and directly. I know that the SGA suite is a little bit intimidating for a lot of people. When people ask to see either the president or whoever's in the office when I'm sitting at the front desk, they're like, can I go back there? And it's like, yeah, that's our space, and I want to make sure that people know that. We also want to have an anonymous form that goes out bi-weekly, which we'd also like to have available on the website that allows any students, SGA or not, to voice a concern, whether it be in the SGA or not, and for that form to be looked over by an advisor initially and then brought to the exec board. So just in case, so even though it will be anonymous, we just want to protect those who may not feel comfortable in the space, and so they have a place to voice their opinions and make sure that a staff member is looking over all of it to create that transparency and clarity, and just making sure people feel okay in SGA. And we'd also like to set up a reward system, so something along the lines of SGA departments of the semester, just to motivate members to communicate with each other and kind of talk to their higher ups and tell them how they're doing, what they want to do. And we believe that division heads should send updates in a newsletter and should be sent out to students monthly. And we bring up communication so much because I was on the student court last year, so I saw everything that had happened, and it was pretty sad because a lot of the energy that we spent on it and the time should have been going towards the students, not just all the drama that was happening. And so we want to make sure that students know that their SGA fees are not wasted because we spend enough money here as it is. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. The next ticket I'd like to hear from is Malik's. whenever you guys are ready.
Thank you. My ticket would like to ensure the student body knows that the current SGA is working on regular and allowing feedback and accountability. We plan on doing this by utilizing a milestone page. This is to have regular updated so that we are held accountable, as well as similar to the current SGA page, but with full description of which projects, dated, updates, and milestones that we have placed for student feedback for ideas, suggestions, and comments. We'd also like to have consistent communication and presence from the SGA. This involves attending events that are not sponsored or put on by the SGA and or at CSU. More communication through social media, emailing, and general face-to-face communication, even if we have to post flyers and tabling inside the SU. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. The next ticket I would like to hear from on this question is Rob Consolo.
Hey guys, so communication and transparency is always something that the SGA can improve on, and that's something that our ticket will, that's one of our platforms that our ticket is running on. So when Rob and I were on SGA a couple years ago, we have a proven program of what we did that worked when communicating to the students. So we did monthly newsletters, we did Ernie banners, and we did weekly SGA Did You Knows on Instagram and other social media platforms. That was a way that the SGA was weekly, monthly, semesterly giving out information to the students, so the students knew exactly what was going on within the SGA, and not only within the branches of the SGA, but also the divisions of the SGA. So Touch and Go, the Avion, Wicked, and now ERT. So that's something that we want to bring back because we know we have, it's a proven program that we have, that we know that students, they utilize this, and we rarely had questions, we rarely had confusion when it came to students not knowing what was going on in SGA. Additionally, something that I want to do as Vice President is I want to be uploading the SRB minutes to the SGA website within 24 hours of a meeting going on, and making note of how reps are voting. So each rep, you can see how they're voting and what's being voted on. And additionally, something that Rob touched on earlier was a 24/7 hotline for the SGA. It's similar to an IT ticket system where if a student has an issue or a problem in that specific moment, they can go on this hotline, type up whatever their problem is, and it's sent to the SGA Executive Board. There, we will review what's going on. We will send an immediate response back to the student so the student knows that we're working on this problem, and we will show them that we're working on this program with each step of the way, because that's what we want to do. We want to show that we're working on these problems and, you know, coming up with solutions for this.
All right, thank you very much. The next ticket that I would like to hear from is Jim Myers' ticket, whenever you guys are ready.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Jim Myers' Vice President candidate. I was actually I'm the only Vice President candidate that was actually in SGA during last year when like a lot of the students' voices and intentions came to a head. And I'm not gonna lie, like I really took it to heart, and it's a big reason I am running for Vice President. It opened my eyes a lot. I've been a student assistant for 4 years, well, for 3 years, going on 4 years. That's the person that you see at the front desk who normally gets hit with all the student questions, and I've seen firsthand all the student confusion. And so I do believe that SGA needs to be reworked to be more efficient and do more. I don't think it's ever been in a spot that I've been satisfied with in terms of communication. And I'm like very happy to see that the amount of executive tickets this year reflects that. We're all very passionate about improving SGA because we think it needs to be better, starting with communication. However, like communication doesn't help if we don't improve the way we take in feedback. The student assistant email gets hit with a lot of random emails, and I would like to have a consolidated email that is similar to IT's system. Hopefully a little bit better than IT's system. I know we've all got caught in IT a little bit too much before. It's kind of like a more official way to have progress updated. We're gonna have like what we're gonna like basically take in the feedback, and we also would like to let you guys know what we're working on. Not a lot of people know about general sessions, so we want those minutes to be released in the SGA for reading, so people, while they're getting their coffee, they're going to come in, stop in, and the SGA is going to be very welcoming and pull them in with that. With all this, we're going to be the most in touch exec board in years, because we think that, like, hopefully you can see by our diversity that we are willing to tackle all of these issues. Students want their voices to be heard, and we're here to make sure that you know that you will be heard. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Now we're going to move on to the fourth question. So for the fourth question, this one is a treasurer-specific question. The question is, how familiar are you already with the processes of SGA allocations and the Student Finance Board? To start off with, we would like to hear from Rebecca Muse, treasurer.
Hi. As I said earlier, I have been a treasurer of an RSO for the last 2 years, and I am now working on the Student Finance Board. What this means is for the past 2 years, I've seen the entire funding process, how it's changed, how it's evolved, and all the new issues that I've had to tackle and master. Please note as well that I said I have had a 100% collection rate, which means I've had perfect collections from the SGA, something that is very difficult to do, and I know a lot of people have a lot of issues and confusion going through that process, so I'm very experienced on the student side. Additionally, now that I have been on the Student Finance Board, I have seen the other half of allocations, capital expenditures, reimbursements, and all of that. Along with the change from campus groups, I have been very familiar with the system as well. We actually just updated all of the guidelines, bylaws, and other things, so I've played a hand in the funding process and making sure that it is evolved properly and more efficiently. So I have known the entire process 100% through and through. The only person who really knows more information on the funding process than I do is the SGA treasurer, and that's only because there's certain things that you can't view unless you are the SGA treasurer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next ticket I would like to hear from is Malik's treasurer, whenever you are ready.
Hi, so Natalie here again. I have a lot of experience with the student funding process. I was at every single allocation meeting for the Society of Women Engineers for the past 4 years, as well as Valkyrie for this year. And as great as this funding process is, there's a lot of problems. And I've run into a lot of these problems firsthand. First of all, it's an extremely complicated process that needs to be explained more properly without adding a bunch of mandatory meetings that our student leaders don't have time to go to. We need to be able to take a hard look at the packet and figure out how we can make it more user-friendly than an Excel sheet. The Excel sheet worked great, but now we have this incredible platform in campus groups that we should be using daily, every single semester, for things such as the budget packet. And I think it would be great to make the budget packet more similar to the student involvement awards, because the formatting is so easy to use. We really need to make sure people understand every single process. And this is not just funding and allocations, this is also capital expenditures, which a lot of people are not familiar with. This is also getting money up-fronted by the SGA when your organization cannot afford to buy something outright. And this is also for receipts. And a lot of these processes are very, very convoluted, and they are not properly explained. As treasurer, I want to make sure that every single last detail is explained properly without taking away time from our student leaders. We also, my main thing is we need to really hammer home what is covered by SGA and what is not covered by SGA with examples. The current budget packet already explains what is typically covered by SGA and what is not typically covered, but I personally have run into a lot of issues with this particular topic the past 3 years, and it needs to change. And I think the way we can change that easily and make everything black and white for our treasurers, our presidents, and for our SGA is truly going in and giving finite, concrete examples on what SGA will cover and what they not. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. All right, the next ticket I would like to hear from is Rob Consolo's treasurer, whenever you're ready.
Hey guys, Autumn here. So I am extremely familiar with the system and processes of the Student Treasury Board and the allocation process. I know from day one that you need to get going, hit the ground hard. You need to meet as soon as possible. You need to create schedules, create itineraries, and set high expectations for the board. Because when you set these high expectations, a lot of stuff gets done. Every member on the Student Finance Board is obviously a member of the SGA, but they aren't utilized as much as they can be. I want to push all these members to be the best they can. I want to get them more involved throughout the SGA with the SRB and more closely involved with the organizations. Each of them are a strong liaison, the organizations, and having all these organizations turn in their budget packets on time, understand what they're doing is really beneficial and key to a successful student organization. So with allocations, I understand you need to have more time in the fall, about 15 minutes just to make sure all your members have a close understanding of what it takes to run an allocation session, to be confident in the process. So come springtime, it can be even more successful. I also understand that each of these allocations are based off the previous 4 semesters for an organization, and it's based off their history, what they were previously awarded, and what they spent. And the first meeting that you go into, first thing I want to do is set a strong expectation and have a strong committee. I want to define roles within the student treasury board, have one be a secretary, one be in charge of calculations, have an SRB liaison, and a historian, just so we can have a strong, smooth running board as possible. It's also very important to immediately set training times, locations, dates, and get that out as soon as possible, because the sooner you can get those to organizations and divisions, the more successful it'll be in the long run. With over 150 organizations to serve, as well as the divisions and branches, the duties and processes get much more in depth. But I'm highly familiar with what it means to be treasurer and running the board.
All right, thank you very much. The next ticket I'd like to hear from is Jim Myers.
Hi guys. So I actually haven't served on the student financial board, but I honestly think that this is a strength. I have all the qualities that a strong treasurer should have, but I bring a fresh perspective. I know that there's changes that need to be made, and I'm ready to make them while still paying respect to the foundation that the Student Financial Board has been built on. I wouldn't have gotten myself into this if I wouldn't have been 110% sure that I was very confident with being able to lead this board. I've put in the extra work. You know, I've talked to previous SGA treasurers. I'm talking with the current treasurer. I'm talking to student organization treasurers to see it from their end and how we can improve their experience. And also I've read the student treasury budget guidelines very thoroughly. I'm very familiar with everything. I know all the facts, I got it down, and I confidently know that I can take on this position very well. Some of the goals that I want to set while in this position is to improve the communication between the SFB and the organizations, to make sure that we're all on the same page. Money is a precious thing, and I want every little detail to be perfect. Also, I want to have complete transparency. I want to have meetings between the student organization treasurers, myself, and their SFB liaison, where we go over their calculation or collection history. Also, I want to have fair and reasonable financial allocations. Obviously, I know what it takes to make a successful organization and what the cash flows need to be for that. And I want to strengthen the bond between the SGA and the student body.
All right, thank you very much. The next ticket I'd like to hear from for this question is Scott Oakley's ticket, whenever you guys are ready.
Yes, so I'm very familiar with the process of SGA allocations and payment requests. Being that I am the current treasurer of OBAP, the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals, I've been through the process of requesting funds from SGA, and I do feel it's very complex and confusing. And also, one big thing I found was I feel like the mandatory meeting was placed, the meeting was very close to the deadline. I would like to extend the time because I know I had a huge problem with that. Seeking help to complete the packet while having to complete my own schoolwork and other responsibilities was very challenging for me. The short amount of time that they give you to complete that and figure it out, along with the weight of what you're actually doing, is not sufficient at all. Also, I would like to say that I feel that the SGA could give more reasonable refunds to clubs, being that we do spend a lot of money to come here, and in my time just collecting signatures for our packet, simply telling that I'm running for treasurer, a lot of clubs were complaining like, hey, my club has received 0 funds from the SGA, a lot of like complaints along those lines, and I would like to rectify that and improve the relationship with the treasury of the SGA and the RSOs on campus. That's it. Yeah, so that's one of our policies right now is the rollover fund, which is the money that isn't spent by the exec board in this semester or any semester would be rolled over to the next semester to fund RSOs on campus and paying for, or just keeping their members happy basically, because that's what we're doing this for. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so the fifth and final question we'll be asking today is directed towards the president candidate. This question is, as the primary contact point for faculty, what plan do you have to communicate with faculty the needs and desires of students? The first ticket that I would like to hear from today is Malik's. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you. It is evident that communication is a challenge, and it is our ticket's mission to tackle this. Faculty have challenges of their own, and we're taking the time, and we will continue to learn and understand what these challenges are in order to our plan to elevate these challenges is through improving existing channels of communication with a project management lifestyle approach in which we identify the challenges, set measurable goals, implement, and analyze. The first thing is to make sure that we are understanding the overlap between the student and the faculties. Then we should leverage the student reps to ensure that we get constant and consistent feedback. It is not enough to ask once what they did. It should be consistent. Communication is more than input and output. It is the ability to look beyond this and identify the areas of improvements. It's about revisiting the challenges conversations. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. The next ticket I would like to hear from is Rob Consolo's ticket. Rob, whenever you're ready.
All right, everyone. Well, so first things first, when it comes to contacting the faculty and communicating with them, anything going on with the students, that's normally probably the first phase of a big learning curve that comes in with becoming SGA president or any of the SGA executive board positions. And something unique that my ticket gets to bring to the board, with my long terms of experience on this campus, I've been able to develop really good personal relationships with President Barry Butler, Provost Lon Moeller, and our ticket has already actually met with Rodney Cruz, who's the VP of Campus Planning. And so we've already started those conversations, and I think it's extremely important that every ticket should start those conversations because there's a lot that goes on that side of the house that we need to be aware of, and we also want to make sure that the student voice is being heard on that side of the house. Faculty are people too. People forget that, and they get super upset when things get overlooked. And the simple answer is they probably don't even know that the problem exists. And we started this whole conversation off with that first question where I mentioned an open line of communication. That goes from bottom to top. We want to make sure that every single person is in the loop and understanding of what the SGA is doing and what students are dealing with on a daily basis. We find ourselves in situations that it's so easily addressed, yet it just simply gets overlooked. And we saw a piece of that as well with the COVID-19 pandemic, where things may have been addressed, but the SGA wasn't kept in the loop. The conversation wasn't going downwards. And I know there was some conversation that the SGA president was in the loop, but having conversations with Chris, we were kept in the dark. And so it's extremely important to make sure that we reignite those conversations and reignite that relationship to make sure that the upper administration automatically comes to the SGA whenever the students come into question, because we deserve to be that voice, and that's what we're here for. We are your voice. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. The next ticket I'd like to hear from is Jim Myers' ticket. Whenever you're ready, Jim. Jim, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I had my mic muted.
That's all right.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think the biggest thing SGA should work on is we need to abolish the silos. We have silos within departments and administration on campus, and that's just not effective for anyone. I've, with my role in Progress Committee, I've been working on projects like crazy. I've become an expert on campus operations. I frequently meet with administration, campus safety, career services, risk management, facilities, Sodexo. I've had countless meetings. I have a binder with all of the meeting agendas. I wish I had to show you, but it's super important to talk to faculty and administration because they're the ones that make the big decisions that trickle down, just like with the refund options that we saw recently. I'm a business student. I've got a business mind, so I understand budgets, policy, legal, risk management. I understand that stuff, and that's the language that resonates with them, and that's what the language you have to speak with them, because simply other ways it just doesn't resonate with them. It's quite an art, actually, learning how to inform students how they can help you do your job being a representative, but also, making that so it really resonates with administration. These past 2 years I've been at Embry-Riddle, I've been able to become an expert on, and most of the times if someone has a specific issue, I could name drop the right person to talk to, no matter what department it is, because I emphasize in-person communication with faculty and administration, because I think it's cheap just emailing. I really stress in-person conversation, so I'll try for in-person, if not over the phone, and then default to email last. But with the business mind.
And your time is up.
Thank you.
All right, the next ticket I would like to hear from is Scott Oakley's ticket, if you guys are ready.
Okay, yeah. Well, this question, the faculty part, I think is pretty easy. You just build a good relationship with the faculty senate president and corroborate with him as Dr. Berliger on anything to do, any issues between students and faculty, working with the deans of each college as well is also important. But I think the root of this question really goes down to relationships and the ability to build relationships with the adults on campus. And while I can't speak to the relationships the SGA had with the adults after I left, I can say that when I was there, they were excellent. I was totally in line with everything upper administration was doing. Yeah, all the time. Upper administration, the board of trustees, the faculty senate, we had an incredibly open line of communication. We're constantly going back and forth. And I was able to relay that information into SGA operations. Perfect example, the Hurricane Dorian makeup days, we got the days off for the hurricane, and I got an email during the break, and they said, yeah, the first day back, Monday morning, 9 a.m., can you come in to talk about the makeup days? And sure enough, I went in, met with Provost Mueller and Dr. Berliger, and we hashed out makeup days. So the root of this question really does come down to the relationships and ability to build relationships, but also the relationships you already have. And I think that's another strength about our ticket and me personally, is that I was able to use my time as president to build relationships that I believe are unique in this election, specifically in groups like the Board of Trustees and people like Maury Husseini, who his name is on our Grand Student Union as the chairman of the Board of Trustees. I'm excited to use these relationships. I already have them. They all understand everything that's happened last year, and they're still supportive of myself and are happy to see me running again. And I'm excited to use these relationships, provided we get reelected again, to pick right up where we left off from day one, as soon as we get elected, over summer, as board meetings occur over summer, to the big board meeting in the fall. Yeah, it's all about relationships. I've got the relationships, and I'm excited to put them back to use. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much. The next ticket that I would like to hear from is Rebecca Mew's ticket, whenever you guys are ready.
All right, so I just wanted to kind of go on a faculty base, so in a sense of professors. And so actually I was talking to a couple of my professors today. I was eagle visioning them, and they were saying how the faculty of their colleges has a monthly meeting, but our representatives usually don't go. And so I wanted to change that. I wanted to have one-on-one meetings with our college representatives. And so that way we could kind of plan out what we're gonna say, things that we want to get done, feedback we've gotten from students, and then present it to them at their faculty meeting monthly. I think that is the most effective way, right, from infiltrating right straight in. Also, I would like to grow the student involvement in the wellness committee, which is now, it only has one student representative, which is actually me. I'm the first representative that they've ever had. And it is the best way to talk to most of the faculty from around the school, because there's a faculty representative from almost every sector of the university. So athletics, housing, counseling, you name it, we are there figuring out how to better the wellness and mental health of the students. So I want to grow that committee because that is the best way to do so. When I went for my first meeting, they had talked about surveys and Canvas games, and I was sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna go on Canvas to play a game. Like, that's the last thing I want to do. And that input was super, super important because they were about to put money into that. And so having student feedback in the wellness committee that directly affects the students as it is incredibly vital. So I want to grow that committee a lot. And then also I was tabling for we had open table sessions that I really wanted to do for president. So a couple of weeks ago, we were tabling giving away SGA mugs and merchandise, and a lot of people came up with concerns and problems that they have at their school. And I was honestly shocked for all the things that they had said. And I was like, why haven't you told us any sooner? And it's because they have no way to communicate. So doing that tabling with the president present is really, really vital. So they can see our face, talk to us, so they don't have to go out of their way to go upstairs when they don't really feel comfortable in the space. So having that open line of communication with them and working through the wellness committee is the best way to go. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, you guys. So that concludes our question portion. For the next part, we'll be doing the rebuttal, where each ticket will receive 5 minutes to address anything brought up in the previous 5 questions. I'd like to remind you guys, no mudslinging. So we'll start off with Rob Consolo's ticket. Whenever you guys are ready, you guys can start. You guys have 5 minutes.
Yeah, guys. So we talked about a lot during tonight's debate, and it's been really exciting. I'm very excited to see what we can do as a ticket moving forward with the SGA. And some of the highlights of the things we've covered so far, one of the big ones is, of course, communication. Top to bottom, clear, open communication. That addresses so many issues across the board, and that's something we've identified before. Every single year we've ever had an SGA election, communication is always on the docket. And that's because 90% of the problems is due because of a lack of communication. And our ticket, having a massive amount of previous experience and coming into this headstrong and with good projects on the board, we're very confident that we're going to be able to come in here and be able to do a lot of good and make sure that moving forward, the SGA continues to be successful. And we want to make sure that we have a year to get what we want to get done. And we want to make sure that when we walk out those doors, they have the ability to continue to be successful for years and years to come. Because I know I'm going to come back here 20 years from now and see a full-blown reliable transportation service known as the SGA shuttle program, seeing Zipcar explode, and seeing lots of new programs coming out of the SGA every single day because of students and because of the really reliable and communicative SGA. And Jen?
Yeah, so I actually have like a lot of plans and goals for if I were to take office again as a vice president. And one of my goals is to be a more focused and strong leader internally in the SGA. And my plan for doing that is to be more of a prominent figure when it comes to divisions. So Wicked, Avion, Touch and Go, ERT. One of my goals is to attend more of the division meetings, the exec meetings, go to the general meetings at least once a month. I want to meet with division heads on a weekly basis as well. And then another thing that our ticket thought of as an idea is a new program called the Division Alum Advisor Program, also known as DAP for short, where basically we have alum from the divisions come back and they help each division wherever they see fit. So if the divisions are having trouble for one of their big events, like Touch and Go, when they do their homecoming concert, you know, they have some issues that alum have dealt with in the past, and they can have alum come back and, you know, help them solve these issues. It could be issues with contracting. It could be issues with how to deal with the Wicked shed that was just being built, how to deal with a certain act, like all these things that alum have dealt with in the past. They can come in and they can help each division grow to their full potential and also add with the continuity. And also I want to start within the SRB, I want to start an RSO outreach program where each SRB member is given a list of RSOs that they are a liaison to, and they have to meet with them, you know, monthly or semesterly, go to one of their meetings, and that is their direct point of contact for the SGA. And so that's just a couple plans that I have if I were to take office again.
Yeah, so I've not only been involved with SGA, but I've also been very highly involved around campus. I truly love being around the students and meeting new people. And through this, I've also noticed that there are a lot of students who don't get as involved as a lot of them, and because of this, they suffer through mental health issues. And one of the things that when we met with the deans was I learned that there is an annual fund committee, and this annual fund committee brings in scholarship and donations from all sorts of people, and they use this fund to be able to fund things that the SGA may not normally be able to fund. But unfortunately, they aren't able to get students as involved as they can because this fund is actually pretty small. So one of the things I want to work with as a treasurer is to increase this fund, because realistically, not everybody can be funded. Not individual students can get the funding that normally would come from RSOs. So in increasing this fund and in outreaching the students, we can get more students involved, get them out to conferences and do things that they wouldn't normally be able to do. And not only that, but as treasurer, I want to remain as transparent as possible. Obviously, we have to remain confidential and our meetings are closed, but in keeping the website updated and creating visualizations such as a pie chart on the website, we can keep the students in the loop on where their money is being spent. There is a lot of money to be handled, and there's a lot of questions on if it's affecting the students and how effective the money is being spent. So I really want to outreach to students and make sure students know that they should have confidence in myself and the rest of the SGA in spending their money. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, you guys. So the next ticket I would like to hear from is Jim Myers, whenever you guys are ready.
Yeah, hi guys. I'm going to speak for myself and then pass it off to Sansa and Skylar. But one thing I could really emphasize is that although I've been involved with other RSOs and stuff, I've only been a member of SGA. So what that means is I have no loyalty to a specific demographic on campus, whether it be Greek life, athletics, ROTC, or certain RSOs. I see all students equally because my role in SGA is simply serve all students. And also I can emphasize being a full-time president. Since I'm not committed to any other organizations, I get to commit my full amount of time and effort into SGA. Some people think I live in the SGA office and sleep in there, but I don't, but I'm in there a lot. But I'd like to pass it off to Sansa and Skylar.
Okay, hello. So as I spent some time on the student finance board kind of gearing up things, like I've already put a pie chart on the SGA's website because I heard the students' concern about their funding being spent. I'm here to completely revamp the rep board. So many people have been complaining, like a lot of us have known, that it's not working. People don't know their reps. So you need a fresh face, and I'm here to understand that. Why don't people know how to contact their reps? Why are there not reps tabling in colleges? This is an issue. Why are there not faces at the forefront of these colleges' lobbies? These people need to know who to contact, and these reps are they have the will and the willpower to do their jobs. We're going to give the students what they want. Students are having issues with Sodexo. There's not healthy options. People are getting sick. There's no healthy late night options. It's not just for the athletes, it's for people with dietary concerns. Why is campus known as such a bad place to live? I've been listening and I've understood. For mental health on campus, people do not enjoy campus tailgates and things like that. Let's make tailgates fun. We can easily work with athletics. Athletics wants a voice in SGA. We're here to do that. Let's make tailgates good. Let's get all of our RSOs out there. Let's get our faces going. And I'm actually going to pass the spirit things off to Skylar so she can talk about that as well as her treasurer experience.
Yeah, so being an athlete, I definitely wanted to talk about this, bringing more spirit, to the school, getting students really excited to come out to games. I think one of the things about being an athlete is that when you don't get as many fans out into the stadium or the stands, you really want to think about well, are we reaching out? So I want to have more revamp the tailgates for SGA and make them really fun, make people really excited to come out to these and enjoy their time there. So I really want also for athletes to get more integrated. Maybe some ideas would be to on game days have the halftime show challenges going on in the UC or in the student union or outside on the lawn. I think really integrating our whole community will be great, and that'll help with our spirit and, you know, make the student experience that much more fun, and have a lot more school spirit. So I think that'd be great. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, you guys. All right, so the next ticket I would like to hear from is Scott Oakley's ticket. So whenever you guys are ready.
Second. Cool. Yeah, we'll just address some of the kind of recurring themes that were brought up tonight, as well as one theme that is usually a recurring theme. We hear it every single year for an election, but we have not heard it much this year at all. And I'll start with that one actually, being parking, and the parking being an issue. Now, granted, parking is not perfect, and we're still working and exploring solutions to improve upon that. But I think one of the huge reasons, one of the main reasons that parking is not such a hot button issue this time around is because some of the accomplishments we were able to achieve during my time as president, specifically regarding the van shuttles and the parking garage that's coming to campus. So I just kind of had that thought and thought that was curious, because it is usually a marquee ticket item that we hear about in every election. But beyond that, some of the other recurring themes, communication, obviously, we've talked about that a lot. We won't go too deep into that. I mean, we kind of agree with everybody that communication needs to improve, and obviously we're committed to doing it as well. But unity and transparency. I believe every ticket's campaigning on unity this time around, and the fact that we have 5 tickets running is also indicative of that, that everyone thinks that they're going to be the ones to bring unity to campus. And I'm going to reiterate what I said previously about our unity is going to come from being able to identify the actual problems within our SGA and unifying around those. We can preach kumbaya unity like that all day long, but ultimately, if we're not actually going to sit down and look at what is actually wrong and take the necessary steps to address those, instead of continue to talk about them, then we're not actually going to be achieving unity. That's one of our main goals. We're setting out to do that. And beyond that, transparency. Also, as I mentioned earlier, there were some key parts of SGA operations that occurred last year that were done anonymously, that were done behind closed doors, that were done on closed ballots. And again, in a representative elected democracy where our only job as elected officials is to represent the students, again, for the students to not even know what their SGA is doing is a huge problem. And like I said, we're committed to changing that as well by requiring elected official votes to be held and recorded publicly. And I heard someone else agree with that, and we appreciate that as well. Beyond that, the current circumstances are obviously quite stressing. There's a lot of uncertainty out there. And that's where our idea for the SGA refund comes into play as well, actually. We didn't get to talk about it much in the debate, but yeah, our plan is to take every dollar that we did not spend in the spring semester and just refund it equally back to students, including graduating seniors. Anyone who paid their spring semester SGA fee, refunding as much as we can back to them, because other than that, what are we going to do with it? Just sit on it as an SGA, have it go down a black hole? That's one of our big ticket items, and we're committed to following through on that as well, in line with the university policies of refunding other things like meal plans and housing. So, you want to say something?
All right, so one of the things I wanted to start with was last year I was not a member of the SGA section of things, but I was very involved with it. Considering Scott's one of my closest friends, I was very in tune with what was going on with SGA, some of the issues that were happening. And so last year, I emailed one of the dean of students from the COA, and I realized that they aren't the ones that, like, they're not doing anything. It's always on the students. When it involves students, it's on the students. So, or within the SGA, we're the ones that are supposed to handle it, and we need to step up. And so that's one of the things that I really want to get at, is that I realize that we are the face of the SGA, we're the face of the school primarily, and we need to do something to change that. So one of the things I believe, or one of the reasons I believe that I'm a strong candidate, is because I have had a lot of leadership roles, and I do know how to manage my time, know how to manage people and get things done in a timely manner, and also benefit students and benefit everyone else around me as well as myself, and make us all a better team. Mostly, like, that's what we want to be, as a team. We want to all be unified as one. And so, yeah, that's what I have to say on that matter.
Yeah, and I just had one more thing I wanted to mention as well. Because I heard a couple times as well talking about, you know, we're going to do that, or we're going to build that relationship, or this is someone I'm excited to get to know. Like I said, our students don't really have time for that. Our students are going to need an SGA that's going to be in there fighting for them from the day they get elected over the summer. All three of us, as evidenced by the fact that we're sitting here together, we all live locally, and we're going to be here over this summer, and we're going to be able to come in and fight for students when there aren't even any students on campus. And so we can't afford an SGA that's going to take time to get their feet under them, take 1 month, 2 months, anything like that. We need an SGA that's ready on day one, and we believe we are going to be that SGA.
All right, thank you very much, you guys. So the next ticket I would like to hear from is Rebecca Mew's ticket. Whenever you guys are ready.
Hello. So I just wanted to provide some clarity and information on the funding process, because I have been on the other side of a lot of the complaints and confusion and all of the input that all goes to the Student Finance Board, and we internalize all of that and you know, have to deal with that and see what best solutions we have. So just something going on. I know there's a lot of complaints about the SGA process. Obviously, we've worked time and time again to innovate that. And on the current Student Finance Board, a lot of the issues such as the Excel sheet and the process and other things like the efficiency and some clarity information on what we should do, those are all being or already dealt with. Our Student Finance Board is already dealing with a lot of those issues, or at least starting the projects to make sure that they'll be effective down the line. Personally, I've seen a lot of inefficiencies, and some of the things that I would like to touch on and innovate and bring to the table as SGA Treasurer is, the first one is actually create budget packet help sessions prior to the deadline of funding. So this would be like, you can sign up for a 15-minute session, meet with somebody from the Student Finance Board, and have your budget packet completely optimized and clear up any questions, so that by the time you're going into the funding process, you know exactly what's on your budget packet, what's going to get approved, not approved, or remove anything like that. Secondly, the next thing I would like to do is actually go back and completely revamp the guidelines that go for allocations. So as we know, there's 2 years prior that of funding that affects how you do now. I would like to change that, probably add in different factors such as your fundraising, your sponsorships, if you get any of those, see of those, and actually do something new, such as admit financial rewards. So you could get more funding based on that. So maybe you get approved for $3,000, and because of your sponsorships and things you've learned over the past year, you get a 10% increase in that $3,000 as well. So that's just another way to grow the finances for good behavior, so it's not just across the board bland. One more thing is, I know there was a lot of communication issues and frustrations for this recent, as we had to evacuate campus very last minute. And I think one way that we should alleviate frustrations and stuff is actually create basically an emergency committee within the SGA, and this would be something that would be a group of individuals that come together, create guidelines, policies, plans for all kinds of students to go out, what they should expect in any sort of emergency, not just hurricanes or say a pandemic like this, because I feel like a lot of students don't actually know what to do, or they're not given a voice. Once we go into that mode, it almost feels like everyone's all for themselves, and I've definitely felt that even recently now. It's just kind of fend for yourself. So I think we as the SGA need to be better about creating plans for our students and letting them know that they're not alone and they're not on their own for this. And I'll hand this off to our VP, Sam.
Yes, so I believe that the vice president represents someone who can stand in whenever the president needs to, or under any other circumstances. As many of the other students are aware, Embry-Riddle, our school, is a unique university that has increasing demographics of international students every year. So having to be a president of KSA from fall 2019, the experience gave me a better perspective that will make this university more collaborative and easily accessible between the school and the student body that includes the international students. So I have noticed the majority of international students were unaware or inattentive to the university due to the cultural or and language barriers. So this is the main reason why I wanted to stand up and raise the voice of international students. And move.
Yeah, and we just wanted to reemphasize mental health. That is one of the biggest parts of our platform, because right now we don't have enough counselors in our counseling center. Students who are flight students are afraid to ground themselves because they don't want to get their medical taken away. And so we need to address that, because in college, so many other universities have resources that we don't have. For example, like an LGBTQ plus resource center where students like that could feel safe. Also with parking, it's not really going to get better until that garage is built, and it's going to take a while for that garage to be built. But in the meantime, we want a shuttle to be running from Gemini back to the dorms, as well as a new and another blue light, emergency light. And on top of that, for a couple ideas with wellness, we want to make sure that there are blankets so people can lay out on the lawn on nice sunny days. We want a smoothie bar because your mental health starts from the inside out. We also want the salad bar at Boundless to be accessible to students, and you don't have to pay $10 to get in just to pay for it, rather just a salad by salad price. And we just wanted to reiterate that your mental health matters, and we really, really care about you. So please give us the opportunity to help you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And then the next ticket we'd like to hear from is Malik's ticket. So whenever you guys are ready.
Thanks. So our ticket tonight, just like all the other tickets, have already talked about what we want to happen. I want to take the time now to actually rebut some things, because we've already talked about how our ticket plans to dissolve social barriers, we're going to increase resource visibility, and we plan to unite the campus as Scott so generously supplied for us earlier. However, there are some issues that we need to address. Diversity very much does matter when it comes to who your leaders are. You should have a board that represents the student body. It does matter that our SGA properly represents the students, because when it doesn't, students have an immediate distrust that their representatives do not have their best interests in mind. It's not enough to just have students who also happen to be part of these demographics, where somebody on the student representative board also happens to be a ROTC member. We want to do things like add in a ROTC representative, add in a Honor Students Association. ROTC is over 800 students alone that are not properly being represented in our SGA. And honor students are the top 1% of our school. They should be treated as such. We need to make sure that everybody has representatives. But it's not just about listening. It's not just about going, this is what the student body is saying. We have to be making sure we're out there consistently talking to them. We need to be tabling in the student union, and we need to be going to events. We need to be having direct one-on-one communication on a daily basis with the student body, which is not happening right now. Our ticket has lived through a lot of issues. My ticket has dealt with a lot of diversity problems and a lot of hardships, and it needs to change. It's not enough to just say we're going to do this or that we're starting these processes. There's no way to hold the SGA accountable, and that is the main thing that the student body is screaming for, is that there is no accountability from our SGA. It needs to change. It has to change. The students, if things were being handled, the student body wouldn't be so upset even before the COVID-19 crisis happened. The students are upset, and we need a ticket who is passionate about why they're upset to really enact change that has not been happening the past so many years on campus. Everybody in the SGA has amazing desire to see things change, but it's just not happening, and we need to find out why there is a disconnect that this is not happening. Something that our ticket noticed when we started talking to students was the SGA at times can take student organization events and put it on themselves and say it's their ideas. For example, there was the Barbers on Deck, where an organization brought in barbers and students were able to go to those barbers. If you look at the SGA website right now, one of the initiatives they have on there is that exact same event. We should not be taking events and replicating events from the student organizations and then be promoting them as SGA ideas. We should be working hand in hand with student leadership. We should be collaborating with them. We need to ensure that the students feel that the amazing things they are doing are not just being taken, which is how they currently feel. There are issues, and I know everybody here on this call wants to do incredible things, and thank you all for being here and for running and for voicing your concern, because that's what we need. But our ticket doesn't have any SGA experience. And that is what is unique to our ticket, and that is what sets us apart. We have not seen all the behind the scenes actions. They're not working. We haven't seen the hours and hours of dedication poured in. We know it's there, but we don't see the results. Some things, yes. The shuttle's amazing. It has changed the lives of the students, but it's one of very few things that have actually changed. We have the unique perspective of not being embroiled in the Student Government Association. We know things are going wrong. We see where it's going on. We are being affected by where they are not working and where it is going wrong. Our ticket is passionate about coming in with a fresh perspective. It's 2020, new decade, new SGA members. It's time to make a change that sticks at Embry-Riddle. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, you guys. So the next section we will be moving on to is our closing statements. So each ticket will have 2 minutes now to address anything brought up at any part of the debate and say anything that they wish to close out on. We'll start off with Rob Consolo's ticket. You guys have 2 minutes whenever you guys are ready.
All right. Well, it's been an exciting night, and we have a lot of people here that want to institute change. And I will say that as a student leader and having all the time that I've had on the SGA before, I've learned quite a few lessons, and learned those lessons beyond the SGA as well. When I've done project management for on-campus teams, and on top of that, have simply gotten experience through my other organization affiliations. Now, what does that mean? Well, some of the things that I've had the opportunity to sit on is those plans for Zipcar, the vacuum air pump, reformatting the student representative board for efficiency and effectiveness and accountability. The SGA shuttle service, which provided a mitigation to parking concerns on campus and provided students a reliable transportation source off campus. And on top of that, looking at presenting the fee increase before I even was a part of the SGA to give the opportunity for better services to be created and oversaw by the SGA. What did I learn through all those activities is that you can't do this alone. The president, the vice president, the treasurer, they are not supposed to do this alone. They are supposed to lead. A leader capitalizes on the strengths of everyone around them and works with the weaknesses of each person to ensure a successful product, a successful program, and a successful SGA. And throughout all of that, I never took full responsibility for myself doing those things because it wasn't myself. I wasn't representing myself. I was representing the Student Government Association. And it's every single member that deserves the credit for everything that we've been able to accomplish and that we are going to accomplish. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, the next thing I'd like to hear from is Jim Myers, whenever you guys are ready.
Thank you. So Sansa, Skylar, and I, we're powerhouses in our respective groups. Sansa and Skylar have been an absolute dream to work with so far, and I hope that experience continues. I'm quite frankly a workaholic, and I've been working nonstop on SGA projects. I'm still here in Daytona. I was working on stuff over spring break, and I still work on campus during this coronation for campus safety. Some projects I've done: airport shuttles, Fallen Eagle Memorial, getting AEDs in the student union, managing the second half of Zipcar once they've been delivered, smoothies in the new fitness center. I've been talking to Sodexo about that. I advise freshmen for SGA. I've worked with honor students to secure a space in New Res Phase 3. And the projects go on, but we don't have a status quo mindset. I have a critical mind, and I'm willing to put in the work ethic and ambition to really dig into issues. For the COVID-19, I've actually calculated the refund options, and I prorated what we should be getting as students. And I know it's a hot topic. I've never had a management role necessarily in SGA, so I hope to get one to really set the standard for the rest of the association. And also, what student at Embry-Riddle doesn't want an air show? That's a project I've been working on since September. I've had over 30 discussions about it, and it's almost ready to be pitched to administration. Again, our ticket is united minds for a fresh perspective, and we don't settle for the status quo. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. The next ticket I'd like to hear from is Scott Oakley's ticket, whenever you guys are ready.
Yeah, so we don't want to say we know everything. There's a lot of information out there, obviously, and we want to be the ticket that's willing to sit and listen and actually take in as much information as we possibly can and implement the ideas that the students are passionate about and the students are curious about. We also agree that we bring a fresh perspective to the table. When I got elected to SGA president last year, I also had minimal SGA experience, and running this year, my running mates have no SGA experience. And so, but we believe, again, that's also one of our strengths. We believe we have that fresh perspective that's needed, because right now, and having done, now this is my second election, going through and just hearing ideas and talking to students, I feel like we do hear a lot of talk around this time each year about what should happen, what we need to be doing, all that good stuff. But then you get elected and you don't see a lot of it happen. I take pride in following through on every single promise that I made in the election last year, and not only following through, but following through when it was unpopular. I will never back down from that. I'm someone, when I make a promise, I fully intend on following through with it. We've gone through our record, or through our platform for this time around of what we're promising this time, and we are just as committed as I was last year to following through. But I really want to reiterate one last thing about this election, and it's that it's about the vision of the SGA and the soul of the SGA. We believe the SGA has truly just lost sight of what is truly important, and that's the students. It's a whole different conversation. It's a much longer conversation to go into the specifics of how that played out last year. I wish I could go into it, but we just don't have the time. But the bottom line is the SGA just does not have the students at the forefront of what it's doing. And we are entirely committed to getting through or reorienting the scope and the vision of the SGA back around what actually matters, and that is the student body. And we believe we are the most prepared and best equipped to do so. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. So the next ticket I would like to hear from is Rebecca Mew's ticket, whenever you are ready.
Thanks, MTV, for checking out my crib today. I just want to say thank you to everyone in this debate. It's been real fun. For my lack of Wi-Fi connection, it is what it is. But I just wanted to re-emphasize that, you know, the SGA, we put on events and we do things for the students, but the most important thing is the mental health of the students. When I transferred here, I remember I got here and the first thing I thought was, wow, is everybody okay? And when I first got here, everyone was so sad and so stressed, which is, you know, it's fine because it's school, but it's important to remember that we are still kids, right? And I mean, you know, we may be financially independent, but we are still going through college and we need to go through the motions of it. And our job as the SGA is to help the students, to help ourselves have a good college experience, right? Because the thing is, I mean, the reality of it is projects are not done by one single president. They are done by several presidents over several years. And so one may lay down the cornerstone, but they will build upon it. And that's something really important to recognize. My team, when I chose them, it wasn't for a vote thing. It wasn't, ooh, they're really popular and oh, they do this. But it's more of, these are two people that I would love to work with because every time I see them, they put a smile on my face. And I know I can roll up my sleeves and do work with them as well. And they represent our school. And between the three of us, we have a lot of experience, we have a lot of representation and drive to make the school a better place. And we know that we have a lot more to learn as well. SGA is not perfect, and if it was, then it wouldn't be fun, right? So we appreciate all of you guys who are here and those of you who are watching from home, and we know it's a super tumultuous time, and this election hasn't been the easiest. Social media is hard because you can't, you know, keep nagging people all the time for your vote, but it is what it is. And we just hope that you share the same vision as we do. And we want to make sure that we hear you and we care for you. And we hope that you vote for us because we really, really want to do better for this school and to create an environment where when you graduate, you'll look back and say like, oh man, that was the best time of my life. So thank you.
Put your hands up. All right. Thank you very much. So the next ticket I'd like to hear from is Malik's ticket, whenever you are ready.
Okay, so we hope that we covered everything that you wanted to hear. If not, everything we plan to do will be on social media. As a reminder, our ticket aims to empower the student body by dissolving social barriers, increasing resource visibility, and igniting unity on campus and within the local community. Our mission is based on ensuring the underrepresented find their voice within SGA. We would be able to come in with a fresh perspective that is more closely in line with the student body. Having not been a part of the SGA before, we are not privy to the behind the scenes workings and only see what is going right or wrong as it affects the student body. Clarity, accountability, and representation. These aspects are necessary for any successful ticket, and I believe that our ticket best exemplifies this. We are students who have been through it firsthand. There are challenges we face as a diverse group of students, and we're ready to tackle those obstacles with you. Thank you.
All right, well, with that, that concludes the 2020 Executive Ticket Debate. I would like to thank everyone for their time and for running for this very important position and being very understanding with the difficult circumstances that we are in today. Just as a reminder, the elections will start on Monday, April 13th at 8 a.m. and will run until Saturday, April 18th at 11:59 p.m. We'll be posting the link for the elections on the SGA Instagram page, Facebook page, and all other social medias. And I would also believe that it will also be posted on all the candidates' social media pages. So please, please vote for that. With that, that concludes the election debate. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.